So, what happens when a late night talk show host ends up being elected president? We have here Man of the Year, starring Robin Williams, a late night talk show host who was convinced by his fans to run for president. Well, during this year that he runs for president, there is a digital election machiney software that's being brought out to be the main voting machines that everybody's going to be voting on. And the software programmer lady, the lady right here, ends up finding that there's a big glitch in the system and says that we should not be running this system. It's a glitch, and Dobbs would end up winning. Dobbs, played by Robin Williams, would end up winning regardless of how many votes he actually got. Because the glitch of the system is because all three candidates have double letters in their names, and the glitch ends up playing preference to the earliest letter in the alphabet. So we have Mills, Kellogg, and Dobbs. Mills, 2 L's, Kellogg, 2 G's or 2 L's, and Dobbs, which is 2 B's. B obviously comes before L and G, so all of the votes that people might put in for Kellogg would go for Dobbs instead by a mistake in the glitch in the matrix, a glitch in the machine. She finds out this glitch and tries to report it to her boss, Jeff Goldblum. However, this is literally days before Election Day, and Jeff Goldblum says, we cannot afford to come out about this right now. We're not even going to come out about this later on. We can come out about this for next election, but we're not doing it this time. You could fix the glitch, you could fix the problem and all that stuff, but we're not going public about this stuff. And Jeff Goldblum's more concerned about the stock market, his company's stock, rather than the actual legitimacy of an election, right? He's going to allow somebody who wasn't fairly elected president, so long as the people thought that the election was fair. That's all he cares about. So long as people think it was fair, then it was fair. But she knows that it wasn't fair. She's got too much integrity to allow an unfair election, even if she thinks that this guy actually has the best policies out of the three candidates, because he runs as an independent. He's not the blue or the red. And so she ends up going to meet Robin Williams and tries to convince him to step down after he wins the presidency illegitimately due to the glitch in the matrix. And Robin Williams ends up believing her. Jeff Goldblum tries everything he can to discredit the girl. He ends up having people break into her apartment and put a syringe of drugs into her system so that she's taken to the hospital the next day because there's so much stuff in her system. He ends up spinning a PR campaign, a bad public image campaign, saying that she's a druggie and all that stuff. And despite all that, Robin Williams still believes her. He still believes that about the glitch in the matrix, and he has the honor and integrity to say, even though it would be nice to be the president, if I didn't win legitimately, I don't want to win, period. And so he comes out to the public and says that I'm stepping down. I like to be where I belong, which is late night talk TV, making fun of all this stuff. I don't want to be in charge of all this stuff. I want to make fun of it. And so he goes back to late night talk show TV, where he ends up being a bigger star than he's ever been before. And it's a pretty nice movie. They have a little romance thing going on. Christopher Walken plays his manager. It's a very fun movie. It's a very harmless movie. It's a pretty neutral stance movie. If you're neutral, then you might find yourself falling for Dobbs. It's a fun movie. It is. I don't think it's problematic at all. In fact, I think there's a lot of great stand-up moments. Robin Williams has like a 3 to 4 minute full uninterrupted stand-up sketch at the start of this movie, and it is awesome. It's funny. He ends up making a farce of the debate when they allowed him to enter the debate as the independent, since he's officially on the ballot in some states. So they let him enter the debate as 3 chairs, the red, the blue, and then there's Robin Williams, and he ends up turning it into another stand-up comedy sketch routine, and it was hilarious. The crowd was laughing and roaring with the laughter. It made fun of the whole process, but it also exposed a lot of problems in the process that it would be good to to fix those issues, and it's something that you could look at from both sides and say, yeah, you know what, yeah, he's right. It's a farce, and it's a fun movie. It really is. I don't think there's anything wrong about it, but I think it needs to have more people talking about it, because Robin Williams, he's one of my favorite actors. He's been in a lot of movies. I recently talked about The Great White, that he was also in. It was a very fun movie. This is a very fun movie, and I think more attention should go towards some of these movies that don't really get a lot of spotlight. This is one of them that I think stands up with a lot of those movies. And I don't think it's as good as Hook or Mrs. Doubtfire, but I think it stands up to Patch Adams and a bunch of those other movies. I think he's really good in this. I do. And I thought he was really good in Big White as well. But yeah, that's it. That's all I've got for Man of the Year. I definitely recommend you give it a look.